To travel from Mombasa to Nairobi and Nairobi home to London and then back to Belfast. And I remember going onto the bus in Mombasa to bring us to the airport, and I had been crying, and this lady at the back of the bus said, "Come on, we're all going home, there's no need to take it so badly." She just didn't understand. And again, when I was getting on the plane in Nairobi, the air hostess, I think, thought I was stumbling behind Crawford, and she said, "Oh, here comes another nervous traveller." We didn't bother saying anything, but I just wanted the plane to drift into the clouds.
Worse was to come on the final leg home from London.
There was a lot of media, newsmen, reporters, journalists, all sitting with the papers, and all I could see is photographs of Daddy and Mummy and this just awful chaos from Enniskillen. I couldn't believe my parents were part of this.
The Mullins were one of 3 couples to die. Wesley and Bertha Armstrong were standing beside each other when they were crushed in the rubble. Former hospital workers Kit and Jessie Johnson also perished. Others who died were retired nurse Alberta Quinton, former painter Johnny McGaw, and retired RUC men Samuel Galt and Edward Armstrong. As the shattered community buried its dead, one man's voice, in a spirit of forgiveness, was heard above all others.
Right now, neither my wife nor I, nor any of the family that I'm aware of, bear them any ill will. Maybe we'll get around to it, but right now, there's no anger. I prayed for those bombers last night, and I meant it.
Gordon spoke from his heart. He said what he meant. And I think God gave him those words to say, because God was in the midst of all our trouble, and he helped us.
There was no shortage of prayers in Enniskillen, across Northern Ireland and the world, while surgeons were trying to perform miracles on those most seriously injured.
My head was crushed like an eggshell, very severe damage to my skull, and I had brain damage, spine damage, and the sockets at the back of my eyes disintegrated. The roof of my mouth was blown out, my tongue was partially paralysed, and I had ribs broken, hips smashed, pelvis broken 3 places, my legs broken. That was a brave litany of problems. It took me a long time.
Did you feel close to death?
I pleaded with the surgeon for the first week to kill me, because they couldn't give me medicine. I was threatened with meningitis. Pain was terrible. I couldn't breathe. They wouldn't made me lie on my back. And every minute was like a week. And I pleaded with them to let me die. I'm supposed to be a brave man, but death's a decent thing sometimes.
I think the dastardly thing if the IRA to do, they've got no respect for life at all. I don't know how anyone could do such a thing. Like, it's just preposterous to get sick of doing such a thing. It's terrible. All those people I knew or killed, knew very well, were standing nearby. They were only standing 5 metres away from me, but yet they were killed.
With the injuries, caused all the bones, either by the force of something landing in my face or by somebody walking in my face in the mirror in the mid-confusion with heavy boots, which is quite possible. Basically all the bones in my face had to be pushed back out from the inside, which involved painstaking surgery for many hours. I would think at least 4 hours of an operation to do that. So, you know, with two sets of surgeons working on my face, on my leg at the same time, it was a sort of very intensive operation. It was a very difficult operation because obviously facial bones take a lot of time to set, and the surgeon who performed that's one of the top surgeons in Northern Ireland, and obviously did an excellent job.
Not all those injured made miraculous recoveries. 2 days after the explosion, school headmaster Ronnie Hill slipped into a coma. He's never regained consciousness. He's been cared for at a County Down nursing home run by his wife, Noreen.
He was 4.5 years in the Iron Hospital, and then at one stage we were told that we could go home, Ronnie could go home, but we had to have a place to take him. So we looked around, and we decided to buy a nursing home or a residential home, someplace that would be able to pay for itself, because Ronnie needs nursing round the clock. He has to have a nurse and a care assistant to turn him. He needs to be turned every 4 hours. He has to be bathed. I mean, he just can't do anything. It's understandable. Anyone in a coma can't. He can't move. He can't smile. He can't speak. He wakes. He sleeps. He just lies there until the nurses come back to him. He's on a ripple bed. The bed sometimes moves him, but other than that, he can't move.
A decade on, and the intent of the bombers is still the subject of intense debate.
The IRA have said that they didn't mean to kill civilians. Unionist politicians, and I would have to say many members of the families, totally dismiss that. Trying to look at it objectively, I would guess that they didn't just deliberately target the civilians that were there. I would have thought that they were targeting the UDR, and really civilians got in the way. There has to be, on the part of the IRA, a certain degree of carelessness or recklessness on that score.
And your situation. Thank you.
We now know that 11 people have been murdered. 63 people have been injured, 19 of them known to be very seriously injured. Of the 11 murdered, the bomb had been set in a place where inevitably civilians were going to be killed, because it was not a place where those people who were in the parade and at the cenotaph would have been positioned. In fact, they would have been on the opposite side of the cenotaph.
Police were to learn later that a second device had been planted at another Remembrance Day service at Tullyhoman in County Fermanagh. That afternoon, a huge device was found in Belfast.
The police intercepted a vehicle carrying 1,200 pounds of explosive in the, I think about mid-evening, 8, 9 o'clock at that time, so that whatever the IRA were intending to do in relation to Enniskillen, their primary objective was to kill people.
Have you changed your mind? Are you going to say anything more than yesterday?
I have no comment. There's no comment to make.
The outrage that followed the bombing had Sinn Féin on the run.
Let me say categorically that what happened was wrong. The operation, I think, from its very conception, was wrong. And while this is no solace at all to the victims or to their families, I do believe that the IRA killed those people through incompetence, that it wasn't deliberate, that their target was, as the IRA has pointed out in some briefings or other, the UDR platoon or Guard of Honour or whatever ceremonial purpose was being served. But I don't think that's good enough, because obviously the IRA is responsible, and I welcome the fact that it has accepted its responsibility. I'm dreadfully sorry, and I regret very much what happened. And I think that it's only through doing what we're doing now, that is trying to build a proper peace process based upon equality, that all of these dreadful incidents will be put behind us.
What is not in doubt is that the bombs stiffened the Prime Minister's resolve in the fight against terrorism. Within a fortnight, Margaret Thatcher was in Enniskillen for a rescheduled Remembrance Sunday service.
I suppose the air was very tense, the atmosphere was very tense. You didn't know whether these awful people would have another go. I think on balance we all thought it was highly unlikely, but nonetheless the security was extremely tight. I remember finding the service, brief service, I thought it was very moving, and I think it gave Margaret Thatcher an opportunity to say a few words of comfort to Gordon Wilson. She wanted to demonstrate, not least to the IRA, but to everybody, that whatever they did, she was going to be there, demonstrating absolutely that she would not give in.
As Enniskillen prepares for the 10th anniversary, one man will never forget the impact that his 4 minutes of amateur footage would have across the world.
Nobody has ever come to me and said that they thought it disgraceful what I was doing or what I had done or why I was there with a camera. Nobody has ever come to me and said that I shouldn't have been there or I shouldn't have done it. Looking through the viewfinder on the camera, everything is in black and white. And, you know, I think maybe that I wasn't getting the full impact. It was really only when I came home and my family and we put it on here that we realised what we had witnessed or what we had taken.
Some fear those affected by the bomb could be left behind as the political process continues.
People are incredibly realistic, but there is a feeling of, well, they have forgotten us, that the process is happening in Belfast is so remote and so caught up in the politics and in the constitutional issues that the experiences of those who have suffered have been forgotten. And there's a great concern that that the experience of those who have suffered has ceased to be acknowledged by the political process. And I think that's not a very healthy situation for us to be in.
A lot of people say to me, am I bitter? But the bitterness never was a part of me. I accept that nothing could happen to me except what God permitted.
When I see other retired couples out walking and that, and think, you know, that could be Ronnie and I, but you live with it. We live with what happened on the 8th of November 1987.
I naturally feel angry by what has happened to me. Any natural person would feel angry. But I think what's mattered to me is how I've dealt with it. I don't carry a chip around my shoulder against the people who did this.
Now I can say I can't forgive them. I don't understand what they did. It's not in my power to forgive them, but I just pray that they will ask God for forgiveness before they have to face the great judge. That's my simple theory.